Welcome back, everyone, to Mona's Take. I am your host, Mona Rose, and we are here to talk about everything reality TV. This is part 2 to the overnight feeds. After the renom ceremony, just to recap, Turner is HOH. Michael and Brittany were on the block. Brittany won the veto, pulled them down. Turner put up Amir and Terrence with Amir as his target. So we're going to get back into all the discussions that were going on. This is part 2 from yesterday's video for the overnight. Stay tuned. People are acting on a whole nother level on that. Can't wait to see that karma train coming through. Choo-choo. Mood of the day. Really? You got to give us more credit than that. Some people, buckle up, buttercup. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. Remember, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything I've got coming up. And let me know in the comments what you think. I want to hear your point of view too. Yesterday was a great day for Big Brother 24. It was day 20, but it was the most action-packed day that we've had in 20 days. So it was a nice refresher. All right, so I'll pick back up with the conversations last night. Taylor tells Turner that she's always been the one that stands up to bullying and takes up for the underdog. And that it was nice that someone was finally standing up for her, although she didn't know she needed it, but she appreciates him being that person. And he asked her if she was mad at him for saying that, and she said, no. And he's like, well, I really didn't have anything prepared. And he's like, but I wanted to address it. So they're great. Amira and Taylor talk. I swear the amount of self-awareness, lacking amount of self-awareness in that house is ridiculous. Amira is all pissed off that she was nominated. She can't figure out why her, of all people. Why was it her? She says that she thinks that there was a reason that the cookout existed because the minorities were being targeted in the house. Now, I find that laughable because she sure didn't have a problem making sure that Taylor and Terrence went on the block. She doesn't have a problem getting Monty out. But because it's her, then now it's a racial issue. It boggles my mind. She tells her that if she goes on Thursday, that there's definitely a guys' alliance and that the girls need to be careful because that's the only possible way that she could go out on Thursday is if the guys had an alliance. Now, Turner can't vote, so that leaves, 6 of them? They think, Amira thinks on her side, she's got 7. So that means that one of them would have to flip. So no, it doesn't mean that there's an all-guys alliance if she goes home. It means there's a leftover alliance that's going to send her home. Amira and Turner finally talk. And she asked him, she said, I'm curious and I'm confused about your bullying comment because I've been the one in the house this whole time that's been taking up for Taylor, and I've been telling people to stop bullying Taylor. So I don't understand that comment. These people. And he says, well, I probably didn't explain that well. He said, what I was saying was that was the reason I was not putting Taylor on the block. He said it had nothing to do with you and Terrence being on the block. It had everything to do with the fact that that's why I kept her off the block. Because I wasn't going to add to her bullying. Mary said, oh, well, that makes sense now. I feel better about that. Because, you know, I've been a champion for Taylor. The second question she asked is, am I a target? He tells her that he doesn't have any targets and that he's going to let the house decide. And she asks, why me? And he's like, well, you know, we had that little conversation in the storage room where you told me we don't talk game. When I asked you if you were going to vote Pooch out, you shut that door. You said, what are you doing? We don't talk game. And walked out. So you shut that door. So I thought you were coming after me. She said, no, you were never my target, which is a lie. So they talk back and forth and they come to the consensus, okay, it's done, it's over with. You got a campaign and we'll let the House decide. The next conversation is between Turner and Alyssa. Turner asked Alyssa what went on today with the whole her and the Indy comment in the room. Now she can't tell him that she has this alliance that was in the room and that she didn't know Indy was in there. So what she does say is that she heard from other house guests that you really wanted to target Indy, but that you didn't because you weren't going to put me on the block. And she said, I've got slut brain. I wasn't thinking. I didn't know she was in the room. I forgot she was in the room, whatever. And then Nicole got all mad at me. Turner tells her that he has heard and that from several people that the only reason that she hangs out with him is to get information to take back to the girls. And that hurt his feelings because he considered them friends. And yeah, they kind of goofed around a little bit or whatever, but it's not like they hung out together ever that I saw until he became HOH. The next conversation is between Turner and Kyle. Kyle tells Turner that Amira is going around telling people that this was all a mistake, that Turner put her up by accident. How do you put somebody up on the block by accident? Reality in this house is so skewed that it's unbelievable. Turner also talks to Kyle and says, look, Alyssa was in here earlier. She was crying. You really got to have a talk with her. Either you're going to be in a showmance or you're not going to be in a showmance. But you got to have that talk with her and you've got to explain to her why, because she is really confused and she's really hurt. And Kyle's like, man, I've known this girl 3 weeks. She's that invested? And Turner said, yeah, she is. He said, well, I feel bad. I don't want to keep stringing her along. So I'm going to have that talk with her. He's like, but I don't want to get into anything in this house. He goes, I'm here for the game. I am not going to let an emotional relationship ruin our alliance. I'm not going to do it. And he says that, he can't talk to anybody without Alyssa getting mad. She's already got mad at him because he was talking to Indy. She's already got mad at him because he was talking to Taylor. And the conversation with Taylor was like a 3-minute conversation. And Alyssa was all butthurt. He's like, man, I can't play the game like that, where I can't talk to anybody. And Monty comes in, and he's telling Kyle, he's like, man, that's red flags. He's like, anybody that is that insecure, there's problems. He's like, in my opinion, that's how I look at it. If I start seeing a girl and she's wanting to check my phone and she's getting mad because I'm talking to one of my friends or whatever, he's like, that's a huge red flag. So Kyle's like, yeah, I'm going to have this conversation. Kyle is torn about the relationship because he does really like her. But Turner said, well, maybe you tell her that you're not going to have anything until either you get in the jury house or you get outside this game. And then you'll see where that goes. Because I think Kyle really does like her. He gets very giddy around her. It's like a silly little high school boy. And I found out what Turner said in his speech when he was talking about the bullying. He said, I'm the youngest person in this house, and I shouldn't have to be the one to be the peacekeeper. Or, tell you guys that you're bullying and to stop it. I shouldn't have to be that one. I'm the youngest one. And he was pretty proud of that. And he was like, because I know it's going to be on an episode, so it's going to make an impact outside of this game to people who are being bullied or maybe to people who are bullying. And little does he know they're trying to find out a way to cut that out of his nomination speech, because Grodner does not want that aired, because that would shed bad light on her two favorites, which are Nicole and Jasmine. So Kyle and Alyssa finally start to have this talk. And I have to say it was the most uncomfortable talk that I've ever seen. Kyle was trying to be gentle and tell her, you know, this is a game we're playing for $750,000. I don't want to get into showmance. You're a fan. You know, showmances go home. Pairs go home. We need to wait till we get outside the house. Showmances do not work in this game. And she says, well, sometimes they do. And she names off Holly and Mitchie and Bailey, and I've already forgot her beau's name. And then Rachel. I'm horrible at this. I've forgotten those names. It's been a lot of years. But anyway, she not only names those, but she says, okay, in season such and such, you had this. In season such and such, you had this. And they went all the way to the end. And I'm like, you're just telling him that you're like a super fan. Because if you know all of this and you know the seasons they were on, I've been watching Big Brother for 24 seasons. I've watched every episode. I cannot tell you the number of showmances that there were or what season they were in. And I'm a super fan. But my memory, I can't remember all that. But she does. She's laying it on thick. But it was a very awkward conversation. And they cut the cameras away. We don't know how it ended. But Kyle is trying to let her down gently. Alright, so Kyle, Monty, and Turner are in the HOH room. And they're talking about the vote. And Monty said, I don't know how y'all feel about the vote. But if we try to force an 11-0 vote to get Amir out, then that's going to show our cards. If we just let it be a close vote, which is going to be 7-6, or how many? There's 14 of them in there. 3 can't vote. So that's 11. So 5-6. So, 6 votes to get her out, and the 5 girls will keep her, of course. So he's saying just let it be a close vote, because then they're going to start questioning each other. They're going to start turning on each other like they're doing now. They're already turning on Daniel and Nicole, thinking that they're all in on this. They don't trust Indy. They don't trust Brittany. They're going back and forth on who they trust. So he's like, if it's a close vote, we have plausible deniability. We deny, and they turn on each other thinking that their people had turned. Which, as it stands right now, it seems as if Nicole and Daniel are going to vote Amir out. Because they don't want to see Terrence go home. So Turner may not have to do anything. Nicole and Daniel may do all the work. We'll see. But I think that's a smart move. Make it a close vote. Deny who you voted for. Have everybody questioning what's going on. And questioning their own alliance. And they may be so mad that if they get HOH, they put their own alliance up. At one point, Nicole is seen telling Joseph, you've got to start playing this game. You're not playing this game. You're going to get voted out if you don't start playing this game. Little does she know Joseph is playing this game very well right now. Because he's got every one of those girls snowed. They don't have a clue that he's working with Turner at this point. The girls, Amira, Jasmine, and Alyssa, are talking about Daniel and Nicole. Said they don't trust them. They think Daniel knew what was going to happen with the renoms. And if Daniel knew, Nicole had to know, because that's his number one. So now they're not trusting them. They're not trusting Indy. They're not trusting Brittany and Michael. But yet, they're saying they need Brittany's vote. When they're counting the votes for Amira to stay, Brittany's included in on that vote. Taylor's included in on that vote. But yet, both of those people, the girls want out. Reality. Remember what I said earlier. The reality in that house is skewed big time. They're counting the votes. And Alyssa... Oh, I'm sorry. No, I say... Anyway. They're counting the votes. And Alyssa says Daniel's name. And Nicole kind of drops her head down and is shaking her head. And Amira said, I don't think I have Daniel. And Alyssa's like, what? And Nicole's like, no, I don't think she has Daniel. So Nicole's telling Amira, you don't have Daniel. The next conversation is between Amira, Nicole, Daniel. Daniel's telling them that Brittany acted all upset and acted like she was concerned and that it was her fault that they went up on the block because she pulled herself down. And Daniel's saying that it's fake as hell, that he don't trust her. And Amira is like, she's the next one to go. She's the next one we're getting out. So it keeps flip-flopping between Taylor, Brittany, and Indy on who's going to be the next to go. They talk about Indy and how Indy's the one doing all of this bullying. Indy is at the head of all this bullying. She said the most nasty stuff, and they're getting blamed for it. Daniel has berated her to her face. Nicole has talked down to her, insulted her. The rest of them talk about her daily. If you guys remember, if you go back and watch some of my videos, it was a Taylor bashing all day, every day, 24/7. But yet, all of them now are saying, well, I wasn't the one bullying her. That was Indy. Indy did all that. You can't make this stuff up. Nicole tells Amira that Jasmine needs to be careful because Turner's doing this so that he's the target next week, and he's going to go up on the block with Jasmine, and she's afraid they're going to vote Jasmine out. So Nicole kind of has a little inkling into what's going on at the moment. And she's smart. She's observant. She's also a narcissist, but that's beside the point. So she's telling you, we got to be careful because if he goes up on the block, I think Jazz is going to go home. Amira tells Joseph that she has the votes to stay. She's not worried about it. Everything's grand. She's got Monty. She's got Kyle. She's got him. She's got Nicole. She's got Brittany. She's got Michael. All of these people who she thinks she has. Which is good because that'll keep down her head exploding the rest of the week and just being awful to live with. Which is kind of funny because all these people that said that Taylor was going to lose her mind and be awful to live with are awful to live with right now. I finally found out what happened to Indy. Why she was crying, losing her mind, rubbing ice all over her body and asking for salt and all that. It wasn't because she was upset that her friend just got nominated. She got stung by a bee. Yes. Evidently, they locked them down. I don't know if it was in the backyard or whatever. But she got stung somehow by a bee. So that was the reason for her breakdown. And I'm going to end this with the best conversation of the night. And that was between Turner and the camera. Turner's in the HOH room. He's talking to the camera. He starts talking about bullying. It's not right. It's not fair. It's hurtful. And he's talking directly to people who are being bullied. And he said, if you're a young kid and you're in school and you're being bullied, don't lose hope. I'm here to tell you, as a product of being bullied, that it does get better in life. And you just have to stand up for yourself and stand up for others who are being bullied. And let's stop this. So it was a very inspiring speech that he gave to the cameras. And I thought that's a pretty good end to a great day. I mean, this is the best day of Big Brother since we started. I've had a lot of you guys thanking me for the time and the effort that I put into this. I am not by no means a reporter. This is my take. I'm slowly but surely learning some editing stuff, so I'm working on that. But I appreciate you guys hanging out with me and giving me feedback. It really makes me feel good. And to be honest, I love Big Brother. This is one of my favorite shows. Big Brother and Survivor are probably neck and neck, and the challenge. But by far, I enjoy doing this. My sister asked me, don't you ever get tired of watching that? And I'm like, no, no, never. And when it goes off, I'm ready for it to come back on. So thank you guys for your support. Let me know what you think in the comments. Have a great day, and until tomorrow, much love.